I will scan the room. Okay, here is my first note card. Number 2. Three. 4. 5. Here is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is my informative speech. Lyme disease is a topic that is close to my heart. This nasty disease is becoming an epidemic. It's claiming too many lives, and it needs to be stopped. Researchers are hoping to halt the spread of the fastest growing parasite-transmitted disease in the Northern Hemisphere by reducing tick numbers, as written by Michelle McDonald from Irish Times on June 15, 2010. In an effort to reverse the cycle and rise above Lyme disease, there is a need to spread awareness about the disease, but with that said, there also needs to be a change in the treatment plan. Spreading awareness about the disease, supporting and fighting for the change in treatment options is the solution that we all need to be a part of. As I mentioned, Lyme disease is a topic close to my heart for the simple fact that I will have been a victim of its grip for what is 3 years next month. According to the CDC, 29,000 people were diagnosed in 2008 with Lyme disease. That elevated number is just disheartening to me, and I know I don't want to be just another statistic. This disease is not just my problem or the victim of the disease's problem. It's a dilemma for everyone who steps outside. Since these pests like wooded and grassy areas, it is wise to avoid walking near where vegetation is overgrown. Also, wearing light-colored clothing, long sleeves, long pants, and long socks are good preventative measures to take while in tick-infested areas. While these measures are important, it is also crucial to know the early signs and symptoms of Lyme disease, because if it is caught early, it is almost always curable. But if the signs and symptoms go unnoticed, trouble may be lying ahead. Some early signs and symptoms are a lack of energy, fever or chills, headache and a stiff neck, or muscle and joint pain. Also, the widely known fact that you will get a bullseye rash and know that you have Lyme disease is not a fact at all. The fact is that there are many people that never receive the commonly known rash and never find the tick that bit them. For some, they are bit on the back of their head and never see or find where the tick was. If Lyme disease goes without diagnosis with over a month, the symptoms become greater and vaster, from anything like muscle aches to blackouts. In my case, I went 11 months not knowing I had Lyme disease. Although I went to the doctor and was tested, the results came back negative. I became very confused, but soon learned that physicians rely more on philosophy than science, as stated by Cynthia McCormick from the Cape Cod Times on June 16, 2010. In search of answers, I turned to the internet to learn anything I could about Lyme disease. I had 12 out of the 15 listed symptoms, and so I returned to the doctor with passion, and I was retested. It came back positive. If I had only been more aware about this life-stripping disease, I may be a success story, but I'm not, so that's why everyone needs to be a part in spreading the word about Lyme disease. I wish that prevention and awareness were the only steps needed to end this epidemic, but the treatment plans for Lyme disease need to be looked at as well. For instance, I took 6 weeks of oral antibiotics and had no change. I then underwent 3 months of IV antibiotics, and I still live with this nightmare every day. Another negative aspect about Lyme disease is that many physicians do not want to treat victims at all, and most insurance companies won't pay for alternative treatments. There are so many natural options out there for victims of tick-borne illnesses, but they're very expensive. And with the economy the way it is, I understand the hesitancy to pay for a non-insured expense. If more insurance companies would embrace a cafeteria approach, there would be more options out there for these victims. A cafeteria approach is where an insurance company allots a certain amount of money for patients to use towards the type of care they prefer. And since there are so many natural options, if insurance companies would instate these type of insurance coverage, there would be more people benefiting from homeopathic doctors. Again, Lyme disease is in control of too many people's lives, and we need to conquer it. And the effort to reverse the cycle and rise above Lyme disease, there needs to be awareness spread, as well as the treatment options need to be looked upon and revised. It is everyone's responsibility to spread awareness, be supporters for victims, and fight for alternative treatments for Lyme disease. It is the only way that we will have victory over this uncompassionate disease. So let's begin and become advocates for Lyme disease. Here are my note cards once more. There's one. Let me just zoom out here. It'll be a little easier to read. Oops, there. Number 2. Here's 3. 4. And 5. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'll scan the room again. And that is Gina Sullivan's informative speech.